Hello YouTube. How are you? Not to be bringing it up too much, but today is actually, as I'm streaming this, my birthday stream day. This probably isn't going to come out on my birthday. My birthday is September 1st, but I am streaming the Friday before, the 30th, and that is just because I feel like it. And I took leave because I had a certain amount of use or lose at work, and I just had to get rid of some of my leave days, or else I would lose them. And I don't like to lose things. I do, in fact, like to use them. So, we're kicking off the day. This is started at 9 o'clock in the morning, and we are doing a very cozy coffee command craft. And what is more cozy and coffee than Trash Pandas? Don't ask how I make these correlations. I don't understand myself. But I drew a Meurra Trash Technician when I was opening the box of Bloomburrow that I got, and I have said on Twitter, I think I've talked about it a little bit in Discord, I absolutely love the expend mechanic from Bloomburrow. Favorite mechanic that they have presented. Offspring's pretty good. I'm not sure about Gift. Gift for the sense of politics and Commander, that is good. But I love expend because it is essentially continue to play the game and then get something for it. And even if you only have Meurra and no other raccoons, you're just getting a mana, and then the other two abilities are just relevant as the game goes on, because you want to cast more and more magic and as you go into the game, so eventually you're going to be doing those 8 cost turns and blah blah blah. And I like that it's until the end of your next turn you may play those cards. So let's read Meurra first of all. It's a 2/4 Raccoon Warrior for 1 red and green. At the beginning of your first main phase, add red or green for each raccoon that you control. Whenever you expend 4, so you spend your 4th total mana to cast spells during a turn, so not activate abilities, you gain 3 life for expend 4. Again, not super powerful, but it's there, you know, a little bit of life gain, never hurt nobody. And then whenever you expend 8, exile the top 2 cards of your library, and until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards. So even if you have spent all your mana, 8 mana is where you're at, and you can't play anything else, you can still use these cards next turn. And it does say play, so lands are a valid strategy. Again, this is a commander where it doesn't really matter what you do, you just get value off of it. And I really like that. I love commanders that just kind of accelerate the game and then it can be open for anything you want. For those of you who have never seen a commander craft before, the trick to this is that I can search up things on Scryfall. I can go and use EDHREC as a source. However, I cannot go straight to Meurra's page. Can't go in here, type the commander's name, hit enter, and then just here's 100 cards. There we go. I have to do things like right now I am on the Gruul page, so I can go down and I can look at staples for Gruul. I can look at the other commanders for Gruul, and I can pull cards that I think are going to be very good, but I can't just, you know, kind of go and here's the commander page and this is what we're going to do. Additionally, what I normally do when I am streaming these live on twitch.tv/TheSethCross, usually at 8 o'clock on Saturdays, but again, today's a little bit different. Chat chimes in and can provide me with ideas and we'll look at them, we'll talk about them. For you people out on YouTube, you are going to see this in cuts, so when I am done kind of giving this intro, we're going to cut to where we're at the 12 card mark. So I'm going to put 11 cards in and I'm going to say why I put those cards in. And then once we're done with that, you're going to see a cut into the next 10, and we'll do them set to 10 until we get to 62 non-lands, and then I'll put the 38 lands in, we'll talk about it, and then we'll playtest it on Moxfield's fantastic playtester. Moxfield, sponsor me. And yeah, and then we'll call it a day. Usually these are a very good time. This is actually one of my favorite streams. Easy to cut and just very fun. I love this content. I love doing this with you guys. So absolutely, let's look at these first 11 cards I did in addition to our commander and see what we cook up, see what we scavenge from the trash. Well, we have come to our initial 11, and then we'll do them in sets of 10, as I just said. We have a lot of trash pandas. That's what we're going for first. Not just trash pandas, but things that kind of masquerade as trash pandas. And these are not going to be the main focus of the deck. They're just things that kind of allow Meurra to shine with the initial ability and also give us some kind of other benefit on the side. We're going to start off Prosperous Bandit. Offspring card, so for 4 mana you get 2 raccoons, so that means Meurra is going to make 3 mana total, and whenever they deal combat damage to a player, create that many tapped treasure tokens. Even if we never manage to hit somebody for the treasure tokens, not the end of the world. Again, they could just sit there as a first strike 2-1, 2-2, and a first strike 1-1 to just kind of sit there as blockers and everything like that, and collect you mana for Meurra. So this already gets you pretty much to your expend 4. Plus, also you'll have had at least the 4 mana to play these things, right? So we're talking about you're gonna have your 8 mana pretty quickly, so you can start doing that expend 8 and getting cards. Trail Tracker Scout. I talked about this card either in the intro or before we started the part of this for the YouTube. I absolutely love this card. I think it's going to go in pretty much any green deck. I can't think of a reason why you wouldn't want it. A 2 mana, 1/3 mana dork that is a Raccoon Scout. And whenever you expend 8, return up to 1 target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. It's just recursion for playing the game. I really like that, and I put it in the Collect and Trash, which is our ramp section, because of the mana dork ability. Wander Tail Mentor is a 2 mana 2/2 that taps for red and green, so it is a mana dork, and whenever you expend, you put a counter on it. So it's something that you can invest time into for it to become a threat, and then punch people in the face, and in the meantime, you're getting mana. Bywater Barterer is a 3/3 with Menace, and whenever you expend 8, you can discard your hand in order to draw 2 cards. This does work really well with Meurra, because Meurra's expend 8, you are exiling a card, so it's not like if you get down to less cards in your hand, this and Meurra still work together well, where you're not discarding the cards that Meurra's giving you. They're in exile, and you can just play them on until the next turn, or the end of the next turn. So I just really like this. Trash Horn is going to be our way of saying card advantage. And Trash Smashing, because we don't like G's here. Nothing, there can be no G's. No G's. Is kind of our interaction stuff. Keen-Eyed Curator, whenever it's a 3/3 that becomes a 4/4 with trample once there are 4 more card types exiled with it. And for 1 mana, you exile a card from a graveyard. It's Grave Hate, which in my meta I believe is very important. I am a graveyard player myself usually, so I understand how important it can be to get things out of people's graveyards, because I don't want you doing stuff. Stop it. Get help. Or don't, I don't care. Scrap Shooter, 3 mana 4/4, does have Reach, which I believe I've said multiple times in these videos that I believe Reach and Vigilance are super underrated and will save your life. You do have to gift a card if you want this ability. To destroy target artifact or enchantment opponent controls. Said in the beginning, gifting can be useful in Commander for working politics. You might be able to buy off somebody's, like, you know, wrath by like, hey, I do have to get rid of this thing because you're going to win the game, and obviously I can't let you win the game, but if I give you a card, can you maybe not, you know, try to one-shot me next turn, you know what I'm saying? So I like that. For removal, it's on a Raccoon. It's on a pretty nicely sized body too. It's a 4/4 with Reach for 3 mana. That alone, I think, as a Raccoon in this deck would have been pretty good, but having that potential for removal, I think that's awesome too. Birthing Bows is an artifact. It's a 3 mana artifact that just creates raccoons, essentially. 4 mana, tap it, make a raccoon. Does not have to be at sorcery speed, so you can pretty much hold up interaction or whatever you want and do this at the end step before your turn. You do want to remember that this is not expending. If you're paying the mana into this ability, you're not expending. And also, you do want the raccoon for your first main phase, because that way you get more mana from Meurra. So, just something to think about. Maskwood Nexus, another one that does poop out raccoons, this time for 3 mana. They are blue raccoons, which is odd. Creatures you control are every creature type. The same is true for creature spells you control and creature cards you own that aren't on the battlefield. Really good for typal decks just in general, but now even if we have cards that are not changelings or raccoons, they become raccoons. They essentially become changelings. So really good for this deck because it's going to massively ramp up Meurra's ability to make mana. God forbid we do start going into like tokens or something. This and that together, fantastic. Speaking about fantastic, the opposite end of that, this card I've heard is kind of meh, you know, not a big deal. Roaming Throne, I don't know. Some people think it's good. Chat told me about it. I wasn't going to put it in a deck because I don't really see the point, but The bit. We're playing the bit too well. So Rolling Throne, very good card for type decks. Honestly, it's a very good card in general. It doesn't have to be a type deck if your commander has triggered abilities. It's a very good card for synergies with triggered abilities. When it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. We're going to choose Raccoon. It is a chosen type, so it will help out with Meurra. And whenever a trigger ability of another creature you control of the chosen type triggers, it triggers an additional time. Expend is a triggered ability. So the Expend 4 triggered ability, you'll gain 6 life. Expend 8, you exile the top 2 cards and can play them until the end of your next turn. You will do that twice, so you will exile 4 cards. So you'll essentially see 4 cards between Meurra and Roaming Throne. Important to note, obviously, because Meurra does say play, you can play lands, so if you exile 4 lands, that is unfortunate, you don't get all 4 of those lands. However, comma space, that means that you're not drawing into a pocket of lands and not being able to get into other stuff, so I think it's fine, overall. And it, of course, has Ward 2, so it's harder to remove. Something that is a raccoon, but isn't a raccoon, Tauren Mauler. 2/2 changeling for 3 mana, and as an opponent casts spells, you put 1 counters on it. It's a raccoon that just turns into a big beat stick. I am not 100% sure if we will have a way to give trample, but if we do or if we don't, still very good to sometimes just be able to threaten people with a big bull coon. A rabble. Rackbull? Rackle? The Tauren Mauler. Teapot Slinger, not super into any category, but it is a Raccoon Warrior. It's a 3/4 with Menace for 4 mana. Already decent stats just in general, and whenever you expend 4, it deals 2 damage to each opponent. I do like that because it's easy to just kind of like chip people down a little bit extra each turn, you know what I mean? Sometimes you just gotta have little bits of chip damage and little bits of things, so I think that's good. And I was looking for raccoons. There's a couple other raccoons you'll see that might be in the next 10, but we have not fully. Raccoons are not the strategy; they're kind of just the additional value because of Meurra. So you're gonna see probably some other stuff. We have to come to a conclusion on what we want to do with the deck, but maybe we'll see that with the next 10 cards. This next set of 10 is a little bit different than the first set of 10. And what I mean by that is that while the first set of 10 had something of a strategy going, or like some kind of conducive glue, not so much this time. Not so much this time. So, one card that we'd almost put in for the Raccoons, so I guess we're going to start offline. One card that we almost put in with the Raccoons was Junkblade Bruiser. This is a 5 mana 4/5 with Trample, just naturally. And whenever you expend 4, it becomes a 6/6 with Trample. Just good body to beat people with, as you're, again, it's just extra value on top of the fact that you're already doing stuff, so why not? Brambleguard Veteran, 3 mana 3/4, and when you expend 4, raccoons you control get +1/+1 and vigilance until end of turn. Really good if you are going to be doing a big attack. You get to keep everybody up as blockers. Vigilance, absolutely fantastic mechanic. Love it more than a lot of other mechanics, honestly. A lot of other mechanics, like, you can kind of identify just right off the get-go that, like, hey, this is this good for this reason. Vigilance is one of those ones where, like, it's a little trickier to evaluate, but I love it. I love a good Vigilance. Bramble Familiar / Fetch Quest. Chat brought this one up when we were looking at the different raccoons and changelings. 7-drop sorcery to mill 7 cards, put a creature enchantment or a land card from the milled cards onto the battlefield. Automatically just gonna be basically helping us hit that expend 8 right off the bat and giving us value for it. So we get a permanent back, as long as it's not basically an artifact or a planeswalker, it looks like. Meurra gets the trigger. Until then, it's a mana dork that you can bounce into your hand later to be able to cast it, and you can kind of... It's versatile, and I really like that, so I think that's very cool. This next one has absolutely nothing to do with the deck. I just absolutely love the art of this card. Look at the bunnies! I love the bunnies. I hope that wasn't really loud, but look at the bunnies. That's cute. I want this Farseek for every one of my green decks ever. And then, you know, you're able to go and get a mountain card, so you can get like a dual land or something like that. That part obviously is kind of neither here nor there. It's just a good traditional piece of ramp. Speaking of traditional pieces of ramp in red, what deck do you have that doesn't have a Jessica's Will? I was talking to chat, and just imagine turn 3 or maybe turn 2 playing Meurra, and then the next turn playing a Jessica's Will, where people are going to have 6 or 7 cards in their hands still, because we're still in the beginning of the game, and you're getting 3 cards essentially drawn from exile, and then 6 or 7 mana on top of the 3 mana that you've already used to cast this. So you're going to probably expend 8 right off the bat, and then exile 2 more cards that you could play for the next. So good. So good. I love it. I can't think of a reason you wouldn't want to play this in, again, most red decks, and here it's so much more fantastic. Meurra, Scholar of Antiquity, so artifacts being tapped, non-token artifacts specifically, being tapped for green mana, and then tap to untap non-token artifacts, exile the top card of your library, you may play it this turn. So we started, I think around here, me and chat started identifying that this looks like a Gruul from Exile deck, so you're going to start seeing a little bit more of a bend into that strategy, specifically with cards like... Where to go? Faldorn, Dreadwolf Herald. Whenever you cast a spell from exile or land enters your battlefield under your control from exile, create a 2/2 wolf creature token. So, as you are doing things with Meurra, doing things with Jessica's Will, doing things with Meurra, etc., you can now be getting wolves, and you'd be going a little wild. Plus, also, I did not put that she is technically card advantage because of her activated ability. Yeah, that one's card advantage, right? Cut this out. And then along the same lines, in the same deck actually, that Faldorn came in, is Passionate Archaeologist. Commander creatures you have, you have whenever you cast a spell from exile. This creature deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to target opponent. We're going to want to be exiling some big spells. We're trying to expend 8, etc. So this kind of helps us whittle down life totals really fast. Wild Magic Sorcerer is just going to feed into it. So now, as we are casting things from exile, they get Cascade, which means we cast another thing from exile, so that we can maybe get those Passionate Archaeologist triggers, those Faldorn triggers, etc. Just kind of enabling more and more of what we're doing. And then we had kind of a strange idea with Sprout Swarm. Sprout Swarm, on its face, looks very innocuous, very kind of, not a big deal. Essentially, for 5 mana, you can convoke out a sapling. Again, doesn't sound super crazy. If the saplings start turning into raccoons with, like, the Maskwood Nexus, whatever, we also looked into whether or not Convoke counts as paying for the spell. It seems like it does. Let me know in the comments if you think that's wrong, and if you do think it's wrong, kind of cite your source, right? Don't just be like, oh, that doesn't make sense to me, so it's wrong. If you find like a rules thing, put it in the comments. I would absolutely love to read it, because that might mean that this card switches out or something. And then again, growing as it grows and you keep buying it back, essentially the saplings start paying for themselves, which is really cool. And it's a way to basically get us from expend 0 at the beginning of the turn to expend 5, and then we just have to, without using all your mana up too, because of the Convoke. So that's really nice. So yeah, that is the next bit of 10 cards, and like I said, it does seem like we're going to start moving into this exile. So this is the Gruul exile page of EDHREC, not the Meurra page. I think she's actually here. She's in here somewhere, I saw. Yeah, but this is not as the commander. As a matter of fact, it's not even listed as top commanders. So I think we're going to kind of go in that strategy. I might look at Faldorn's page a little bit, because it just makes a lot of sense. It's just a different way of doing it. I don't think it's better than Faldorn, but I think it's a different way of doing it. So let's take a quick second, and we'll figure out what our next 10 cards are in the deck. Well, yet another 10 cards that have been added, and they are all fantastic additions. We are, of course, leaning into the casting things from exile specialization that Gruul seems to have been leaning into, or rather Red's been leaning into, and Gruul has just been a very fun secondary color with the ability to ramp and, everything like that. First one, Bone Horde Dracusar. I forgot a letter when I was writing this of which cards to talk about. It was very inappropriate. I'll let you figure out which letter I missed, and feel free to let me know in the comments. But this says, at the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top 2 cards of your library, you may play them this turn. If you exiled a land, you get a 3/1. If you exiled a non-land, you get a treasure token. So, absolutely really good. I can't think of a reason you wouldn't want it. It's also a 5 mana, 5/5 flying first strike. And it's just going to spit out tokens and treasures. Well, token creatures and treasures. I also started noticing we are, with the exile effect, starting to kind of lean into like going wide strategies. So we might kind of play into that a little bit with some of the cards that you're going to see as we go on. Burgie. Absolutely love a good Burgie. Whenever you cast a spell, you add red mana. Until end of turn, you don't lose that mana. And the secondary ability does not matter at all. The other part of Burgie that people don't really talk about a lot, but discarding a card to exile the top 2 cards, you can play those cards this turn. So if you don't need the mana, if you need the card advantage, which means it should really be in both, because it is very versatile. But, and I love this art. I actually specifically bought this copy of the card once for a deck a while ago. It's around here somewhere. I will probably put this into the deck because this border, this set was absolutely fantastic. This is Kaldheim, and I loved it. And I wish we would go back. Keeper of Secrets is a Warhammer 40k card. Shout out to Nathan Jones, who absolutely loves Warhammer 40k cards and the game itself. This is a 6 mana, 6/4 first strike with haste. And whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, this deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to target opponent. So as we cascade, as we just cast things from exile that we have put in there due to Meurra's expend, etc., we're going to be able to deal some damage. Again, just ways of whittling down people's life totals. Another 40k, or not another 40k, another Universes Beyond card. This from Doctor Who set. Araxa, Empress of Mars, 4 mana, 5/4 trample. Already decent body for decent stats with Battle Cry. So whenever it attacks, other attacking creatures get +1/+0 until end of turn. And whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, you get a 2/2 red Alien Warrior creature token. So again, going a little bit wide, getting a payoff for casting things from exile. Return of the Wild Speaker can be good for depending on how you need it. We do now have a couple of creatures that have a decent high power that are not human, so if we need card advantage, that's kind of what I put it in here under the trash hoarding. Or, if we're trying to end the game, we can attack, and because it's at instant speed, we can give all of our non-humans +3/+3 until end of turn. Just a little caveat, with changelings and like the Maskwood Nexus, everything is then a human. So I believe it doesn't work then, so just keep that in mind if you ever play this with that card. If I'm wrong again, tell me in the comments. I know people love to tell me that I'm wrong. But if I'm right, then, you know, haha, suck it. I'm kidding. Shamanic Revelation, another good card advantage, because I did start noticing, again, that we're going very wide, so we'll draw a card for each creature we control. If those creatures happen to have 4 power or more, we can gain 4 life for them. Again, just incidental life gain. It's not the end of the world. It's not like super powerful. We're not building the deck around that, but I think it will be a good time when we do get to stay alive, basically, because of it. Shamil, the Inner Sun. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Spells you control can't be countered in a Gruul deck. That is very important. This is also a 6-drop artifact that kind of just sits there. But at the beginning of your end step, discover 5. Why is that important for an expend deck? It's not, because you do pay the spell without paying its mana cost. However, you get to play something from exile. So all the other things that are benefiting off playing from exile, this is going to feed into that every turn. And again, it's a 6-drop, and it helps with control decks. So if you're playing against your friend who's a blue player and they're a terrible person, 1, I'm sorry, you shouldn't be friends with them anymore. And 2, I'm sorry, Zainem. And yeah, but you get the point though. Jokes aside. Escape to the Wilds. I love this card. I've loved this card since it was, I don't remember when it first came out, but I've loved this card for a very, very long time, but I have not found a place where it fits in really well. I don't have a Faldorn deck. I don't have a lot of like those kind of effect decks. The best thing I have is like Cascade decks, but this is a 5 mana. Exile the top 5 cards of your library. You may play cards exiled this way until the end of your next turn. And you can put an additional land this turn. So if you exile a land, let's say you get 2 lands in those top 5 cards, you can do 1 this turn, even if you've already played a land. Or if you get multiple lands, I mean, you could just boop, boop. It's a weird kind of great ramp spell, while also being a card advantage spell, and helps us pay off, or hit those payoffs for casting things and playing things from exile. just really good. In terms of wanting to make a lot of mana, we have Xenagos the Reveler. With us starting to go wide, that +1 is huge. If not the +1, the 0 ability, just to start kind of like feeding into the +1. I could see you playing this and then making a whole bunch of mana with the way we're kind of leaning toward this deck. So I think that's going to be a fantastic addition. The -6 is also really good for this deck. I don't... Not necessarily like for the payoffs and everything, because putting them into the battlefield is not necessarily always like... It doesn't count for like casting it from exile, blah, blah, blah. I just think it's a really good ability, I guess, is more of what I'm trying to say. And then last but not least, another like card that, so good. So good. Professional Facebreaker. 3 mana, 2/3 with Menace. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. And then you can sack treasures in order to exile the top card and then play that card. So again, feeding into exiling or playing from exile and everything like that. Absolutely fantastic. This next set of 10 cards, I will warn you, is going to be a little bit dull. I just want to hit our basic things, so our basic ramp and some of our like more basic draw cards, but like our support cards and everything, we don't have a lot for Smashing, which is our interaction package. So we're gonna hit those really quick and get just past that, and then we'll finish out the non-lands with 2 more categories after that, and then we'll do lands. Be right back. Believe it or not, it was less than 5 minutes between that cut and this cut, because it was very easy for us to fill out what we need. You can see Trash Smashing, which is our interaction package, has grown by nearly 4 times as much. Beast Within, just getting rid of a permanent, gives them a 3/3 beast. Blasphemous Act. So again, remember cost reduction. I did not remember that art from Far Cry. That is very gorgeous. This will not expend 8 unless you pay 8 mana to do it. Call Forth the Tempest, however, is an 8-drop. You get the Cascade and deal damage equal to each creature your opponents control, equal to the total mana value of spells. So if you Cascade into a 7 and a 7, you're dealing 14. It's essentially an 8 mana, one-sided Blasphemous Act. So, really good. Saw that, absolutely loved it. It's also a Lord of the Rings card. Oh, baby, I love that. Chaos Warp for those things that maybe can't be destroyed, so we tuck them. Crossing Grip for those artifacts and enchantments we want to get rid of. There you go. That's 5 new interaction spells that we did not have before. Then for mana, again, just very simple mana rocks. Arcane Signet, taps for any color. Fellwar Stone can maybe tap for the colors we need. Gruul Signet does tap for our colors. Mind Stone as a cheap mana rock that you can then eventually trade in for a card. Soul Ring. I think that's it, right? Arcane? Yeah. That's all 5 of those, so there you go. 10 cards, super easy. 2 more sections of 10, and then we'll get into the lands. There we go. Alright, so with the 42 to 52, a lot of times we start worrying about the ways to close out the game. We definitely did that with this one. First and foremost, we worried about having haste enablers. That way, if we're getting a lot of our tokens on our turn, and we don't want them to have summoning sickness. So we have Fires of Yavimaya. Creatures you control get haste, and then you can sacrifice it to give 1 creature +2/+2. Not the end of the world, or not massively crazy thing. Anger, get it into the graveyard somehow. We do have Faldorn that can discard cards, etc. And then as long as you have a mountain, all your creatures are always going to have haste. For mana and a little bit of card advantage, we're going to have... Where is it? Oh, I put it into the categories. Growing Rights of Itlamok. This says, when it enters the battlefield, you look at the top 4 cards, reveal a creature card, put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom. At your end step, if you have 4 or more creatures with a token deck, you're probably going to have that. It turns into basically a Gaia's Cradle. Helps us get that expend 8 all the damn time. Speaking of those tokens, Parallel Lives, if we would have, in effect, put a token onto the battlefield, you put twice that many tokens. Just accelerates our game a whole hell of a lot. When you have a big board, people are going to be worried about it and want to get rid of it, so we have Heroic Intervention in order to make our things hexproof and indestructible. That way people will try to blow up the board, what have you. We can basically say, hey, stop it. When we are talking about big boards, Beastmaster Ascension is fantastic. You basically wait until you have a big board of like 1/1s, you swing out with them after playing this, and they all instantly become 6/6s or something of the like. Again, just absolutely fantastic way to kind of get toward ending the game, killing people. Same thing with Shared Animosity. This with Maskwood Nexus, everything will get a +1/+0 for each other creature because they're all going to share creature types. Unfortunately, it doesn't like stack or anything like that. End-Raze Forerunners. We'll talk about the other one in a second. I know you just saw it. End-Raze Forerunner is 8-drop itself. Gives everything +2/+2 Vigilance and Trample, which I think is really cool because, again, Vigilance, you can keep up blockers. Kind of helps you prepare in case you can't end the game in this exact instance. And because it's an 8-drop, you will get to expend 4 and 8, meaning that you're kind of going to be also set up with more gas for the next turn. Speaking of, and possible game-ending cards, Craterhoof Behemoth. It's an oldie, but a goodie. That is a terrifying art. What is that? What is that? But at the end of the day, it's again an oldie, but a goodie. I almost floundered a little bit on whether or not I should put this in the deck. Like, oh, hey, is it a basic card? Should I even worry? Blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, if it's good, it's good. You should just do the things that are good. It gives +X/+X and Trample until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. Most things are either giving you +X/+X equal to the power of your creatures, or they're just giving you a static amount, like the End-Raze Forerunners and everything else. This, on the other hand, like if you're going wide, it just makes it even more potent. So this one will probably end the game as long as you don't get board wiped or like fogged or something like that. And the last one I thought was kind of interesting, and Mox Peridot in chat brought this one out, and we did some of the math on it. Haze of Rage is a 2-mana. Creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn with Storm and Buyback 2. Buyback counts for casting the spell, so you cast this twice, you will expend 8 and get Meurra's trigger. And because of Storm, even if it's the only spell you've cast it twice. Cast it once, Storm doesn't do anything because you've only cast that one spell. The second time, you get to duplicate it. So you'll give all your creatures +3/+0 until end of turn for 8 mana, and again, get to gain 3 life and exile those 2 cards for the next turn if you don't win the game. Absolutely love it. I think it's really cool. This is the last set of 10 cards coming up that we are going to do before we do the lands. I do tend to take this opportunity to go to the page for the commander and see what I have missed. So if you see in the upper left corner of my desktop that it's going to say Meurra, that is because we have done everything we can without looking at the page. Now let's make sure that we didn't miss out on any of like the obvious good cards for this commander. But I will be right back. We'll be at 62, and then we'll be ready to do lands and playtest. Getting excited. Trash Pandas! And here we go. I was very happy to see as we went to Meurra's page that a lot of the cards that we identified did seem to go into the page, which means this isn't the most hyper unique, but also at the same time it means that we're kind of on the right track that a lot of people are also building. So at least we're not completely like crazy, you know. We did have some things that were unique, so that was pretty cool. We added Blossoming Bogbeast. This came from, I think it was the Witherbloom precon back on Strixhaven, because that was Golgari caring about life gain. And whenever it attacks, you gain 2 life. Then creatures you control gain Trample and get +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the amount of life you gained. If you expend 4 and you gain 3 life off Meurra, plus this 2, that's +5/+5 in Trample. That's pretty good. We have down here Electro Dominance. This is a big X spell. We're planning on making a decent amount of mana because of our commander and everything. Deals X damage to any target, and then you may cast a spell with mana value X or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. If X is 6, then you could just throw out 6 damage and also expend 8 because X is 6 + 2 and get your 3 life and your 2 cards, and it all works into. Plus also we have a few things that say specifically if you, oh no, I guess this is casting it from your hand, it's just not paying for it, so it wouldn't do quite what I was about to say that it did. We also have Big Score, discard a card for 2 cards and 2 treasure tokens. Similarly, we also had Unexpected Windfall, which does that at instant speed. So just good cards. They're also both 4-drops, so that'll at least get us to 3 life, and if we can get both off, then great, we can do the expend 8. Another card ender, our game ender, is Crackle with Power. Again, big X spell. This one's a little bit trickier because it's XXX2. So you probably want at least X to be 2 if you're trying to hit expend 8. That way you'll be paying 6 + 2. That would mean you get 2 targets of 10 damage because it's 5 times X, 5 times 2. If you do 3, so you can hit all of your opponents, that's 11 mana total, so you'll hit your expend 8, and you'll deal 15 damage to each of your opponents. That's pretty crazy. Another big game ender is Finale of Devastation. If you can put 8 into this X, so it'll be basically expend 10, you can go and get your Crater Hoof Behemoth and also give, well, if you can pay at 10 into X, let me say, you can get Crater Hoof Behemoth, and you can give all of your creatures +10/+10, because X is 10, or X is 8 at that point. Oh no, I'm sorry, if X is 10 or more. So yes, if you expend 12 essentially, you can get Crater Hoof and give everything +10/+10 plus the Crater Hoof and gain haste until end of turn, which may or may not be a big deal depending on how the stack is. Well of Lost Souls, of Lost Dreams, Lost Souls, completely different card. This is whenever you gain life, you can pay in order to gain, or in order to draw as many cards, you can only pay up to what you've gained. Again, you're just going to be occasionally expending 4 for no reason, and if you don't want to waste maybe leftover mana, or if you're low on cards, you just pay into it a little bit. If you know you're not going to be able to expend 8 to get the 2 cards for exile for the expend 8, and then be able to like keep gas in your hand, you can then at least pay 3. You can get 3 cards into your hand, and then maybe next turn you can hit that expend 8. Gormon's Talent. I really like this because again, it's a gain life cares thing. The level 2, you get the Poop Out a Raccoon token. Really cool for this deck because raccoons mean more mana. If you get it to level 3, every time you gain life the first time, you get a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Just get those raccoons and everything else bigger and bigger as the game goes on. For Alchemist Talent, you get 2 tap treasure tokens. Level 2, your treasures now tap and sacrifice for 2 mana instead of 1. It is of 1 color, just keep that in mind. Whenever you cast, for level 3, whenever you cast a spell, if mana from a treasure was spent to cast it, this class deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to each opponent. So if you are doing like the Crackle or the Finale, you're hitting people really hard on that turn, and these things just kind of, again, they compound exponentially, and there's just a lot of value there. And then last but not least, the Rain of Riches. Where to go? There it is. Rain of Riches. When it enters the battlefield, 2 tokens, 2 treasure tokens, and the first spell you cast each turn that mana from a treasure was spent to cast has Cascade. Again, just plays into everything that we are already doing. Cascading, playing big spells, playing big mana. Yeah. Ultimately, I enjoy the way this is looking. I think it looks really good. We are going to put some lands in. I'm going to do all the lands at once. We'll highlight whatever special lands there may be, as far as like lands that cast things from other places, so like the hideaways and stuff like that, but probably is going to be pretty basic. I'm not too worried about like Rogue's Passages and stuff like that. I'm not going to put a Guy's Cradle in here, even though with Go White decks it's obviously very good, but we're not going to worry about that. So let me get these lands in, and then we'll play test this deck a little bit, and then that'll be it. We'll see how these Trash Pandas do. Okay, we have added lands. There isn't too much that's super unique, and what I mean by that is just most of these are things you could pretty much put in any Gruul deck. 3 Tree Cities, probably the most interesting one. You choose a creature type, and then you can basically Nykthos this to where you're adding an amount of mana of that color equal to the number of creatures you control the chosen type. You can really pick anything. Probably going to pick raccoons, and then with the Maskwood Nexus, it's that, and the reason why I say you can pick anything because of the Maskwood Nexus, you're going to get a lot of mana. You can do wolves too because of Faldorn if you think you're going to go far with wolves. Saplings, we saw that. Alien warriors, like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of different things that you can do with it. But yeah, aside from that, nothing else is super crazy out of control. But Seiju's in there, a little bit of extra removal. Path of Ancestry for when we are playing other raccoons, including the cards that we're playing once Maskwood Nexus is on the battlefield, because creatures you own that aren't on the battlefield are also raccoons. So that kind of works together, and then everything else is pretty normal overall. $615. Some of that is, you know, Meurra. This printing of Meurra that I changed this to somewhere during the stream is $60. That's a little crazy to me, but, you know, what have you. Whatever people are willing to pay, I guess. And then we do what we always do. We come all the way. Oh, look at that split. That's nice. That's nice. I like when it's kind of close. we will come all the way down here and we'll hit this play test button. I am going to hit this desktop audio. Hopefully the cut's not super hard. Alright, what do we got here? We have 2 mana, Passionate Archaeologist, that's pretty cool. But if we get stuck without an extra mana, could be in trouble. Alright, we're gonna draw. Alright, well, I'm gonna have this enter tapped for turn 1. That'll enter untapped because we will still have 2 opponents. We could put our first raccoon out. That's not bad. And then, hey, never punished. We're a little punished, but we're gonna play that, and that's it. Alright, so we're having a little bit of trouble here on a deck that really wants mana. We'll play this raccoon, and then at the start of our first mana, we're gonna have 2 extra mana, so we're already kind of fixing the issue a little bit. Hey, cool. T. We have 2 mana floating. We'll just say we have, I don't really care, a red and a green. We can do pretty much whatever we want. Let's do this guy. We'll put a counter on him. We'll add a loyalty counter. We have 2 more mana, so now we have 3 left over. Actually, no. We'll remove. We'll just make the token first, which is a satyr. And the reason why we're doing that is so that the next turn we can get even more mana when we have the mana off of him. So we expended 4, we would gain 3 life. Boop, boop, boop. And now we could potentially tap this to exile something. Let's just say, we'll just put a counter. So that's our reminder. Somebody gets like a, whatchamacallit, like a land, like an Evolving Wilds or something. Alright, we have 2 mana. We'll use 1 mana for a Soul Ring. Our expend is now 1. We will use the other mana. We'll just say we made a red. Whoop, that's not what I wanted to do. Crud. Can I go? Oh no! I did not want that. Alright, we're on turn 6. Just remember, we can't go back. I meant to, so 1 from that, 4, 5. We are now at expend 6, so we'll gain 3 life again. 1, 2, 3. I'll get 2 treasure tokens. Now the first spell with Cascade each turn, or the first spell with treasure each turn is Cascading. We have expended 6, so now we're going to add a loyalty counter. So we have 3 mana and a treasure for this. So we Cascade for a 3-drop. Nope. Nope. Oh, we can hit a Beast Within. Okay. I think it is Shift L. Move to, yeah, Shift L. Alright, so we'll hit a Beast Within, we'll kill something of somebody's, and then this will enter and we'll make 2 tap treasures. We have also expended 8 at this point, because 5, 6, 10. So we'll exile 2 cards. Fires and Evolving Wilds. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, that's not bad. Alright, now we'll do turn. I'm sorry, turn. Alright, remember that we are 2 turns below because I messed up. I would really like our payoff for our... So let's use the 2 mana for Passionate Archaeologist. So now whenever we cast a spell from exile, we'll be punching people. Our land for turn will be the Evolving Wilds. Then we'll crack it. We'll go and get a Fortista. Put it over here. Close and shuffle. And then I think I want to cast this. So let's do this. We'll cast this from exile. We'll deal 3 damage to somebody. I don't think we have anything else that we want to do with it. So now our creatures have haste. Just in case we need it. Just in case. Not a big deal. Everything's fine. We do, however, need more cards. We would probably... I think we could boop, add a counter, and then we'll go to level 2. So now the treasures tap for 2 mana. Even though they kind of already did that. Oh no, they didn't. Sorry. Then we'll tap, put this to level 3. Right? Whenever you cast a spell, if it was use treasure. Okay. I can then add a loyalty counter, make 3 more mana. So I have 5 mana here. I will use No, we won't do that. Remove a loyalty counter. We'll make another satyr. Because we don't want to show our hand just yet. Our satyrs do have haste though, so that's really good. I think that's it though. Turn 8, this is usually where we start getting a little nudie. Little nudie. Did we expend 8 there? We played the fires, and then we spent a lot of mana on that. Okay, no, we did not expend 8. We have a Meowton. We could do green, red for this. So I've expended 3 currently. I will deal damage equal to the mana value. So I'll hit somebody for 3. I'll hit somebody for 3. And then I will cascade for a 2 or less. It's probably going to be a... There you go. And then I cast something from exile, but I don't think I have anything that does that. Oh, this is cast from exile. Okay, so I didn't deal that 3. But now I deal 2. And then these all go on the bottom in a order. Okay. It's not bad. Nope, not restart. I always do that. Tap. We're going to sacrifice this, draw a card. Ooh, there we go. I mean, it's not going to help me right now. We've expended 3 so far. Now we'll add a loyalty counter. We'll make 5 mana. Is it all one color? Any combination. So 5 mana, 3 of it's for this. I have 2 floating. I've expended. I'm at 6. I have 2 floating. Everything has haste. 2 floating. Four floating. All right, let's go big. We'll do both of these. We'll do this. and that. Hold on. I have not done a land this turn, I don't think. Or no, I did the mountain, I think, at the beginning of this turn. Alright. So those are in my exile. I mean, Beastmaster Ascension, I need how many? 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, it's so close. But I do have 3 raccoons and 2 satyrs. So I could attack with just these, get 5 counters on here. 3, 4, 5. Alright. That's not bad. It's not bad. Yeah, I mean, next turn. Oh my god, that's so good. Alright, so I have 3 mana. For 2 mana, we'll play this little dude from exile. We will hit somebody. I have 1 mana floating. Our land for turn will be that one. I have 1 floating, 3, 4, 5, 6. This will make us expend 4 and 8. Already done a land. Okay, well, now we don't have to worry about hitting lands. Okay. I will keep a counter, and I will make a satyr. Now, I have also expended. So raccoons have vigilance. And +1/+1. Not bad. I will attack here and here. This will go to the point where it doesn't matter. We will just set it to 7 and then leave it. So now everything has +5/+5. So these are 7/7s. This guy gets a +1/+1 from him. So 4 + 5. This is a 9/9. We do be beaten. Oh wait, plus for each other attacking creatures. So these get +5 and then +2, so +7. So these are swinging for 9 each. And then at the end I discover 5 and boop, right there. I cast a spell. How does this discover work? Exile cards until you with 5 or less. So it is from exile cards until you exile a non. Yep, it's from exile. All right, well now all of my guys are raccoons, and I just shot somebody for 4. Yeah. Oh, that's it. That's game. So I can play land. I have how much mana? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. So I can just straight up expend 8 this. So that's probably what I'm going to do. Boop. Everything gets +2/+2. I expend 4. I expend 8. Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't know what I just did. I think we just go like as big as we can. Let's add a loyalty for the number of creatures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 5 of it for this. I can play an additional land. So I've already played a land, I think, but I'll play this one. I'll put you back. Exile the top 3. 1, 2, 3, This goes to my graveyard. Mauler. 8, so I have 3 left. I also will shoot somebody for 5 because of that. That's happened. I can return a permanent card from my graveyard. Can I view? The only real permanent is this to my hand. I have 3 mana left, so yeah, I'm gonna do the Taurian Mauler, which will then shoot somebody for 3. I don't think I have anything else, right? I mean, no, actually, because I still have all this mana. What did that just do? Oh, I hit the key there. Alright, well, we will play the Gourmands, shoot somebody for 1. And then we'll pay 4 and put out that. So we'll shoot somebody for 4. We'll go to combat and swing for a buttload. Now with the Masquerade Nexus, they're all getting +1, +0 for basically just each other creature. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, plus the 5. Everything's getting +14, +14. And has haste, so like even this is attacking. And they have Vigilance. And they have Trample. Whoo, we did it. Alright, that was a little messy, and the turn order thing kind of messed me up, so I would absolutely keep this because I see cards that I want. I will play... Hold on. Sorry. So we'll play a forest first, and then nothing else special this turn. Oh no, we don't have a turn 1 play. Hey, Chaotic, thank you. We'll play that. Ooh, I like it when they match. I'm actually, no, not restart. I'm actually gonna tap these down for the creature first. I do like that first because of Summoning Sickness. We'll do that. And then, yeah, why would we not put a Masquerade Nexus out? This will get a counter because I've expended 4. And then next turn, I could pay the 2. I could tap these for this guy. And then I could do. That will be expend 5 total. So I'll gain 3. I will put another counter. That's pretty good. Next turn. Okay. This will enter tapped. I'll have 2 mana from these guys. 3 mana. And then the offspring cost. So I'll make a... How do I make a token copy of you? Make a token copy. There we go. Set power and toughness. There. So 1/1. Whoa, alright. Alright, so now these are whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, crit damage, blah blah blah. Okay, cool. Is Offspring? Offspring's an additional cost? Yeah, the kids are home today. They don't have school. Does Offspring count as additional? Because if so, I just expended 4. I feel like it does. As an additional 1 as you cast the spell. We're just gonna say it is. This is also gonna get a counter. Okay, chat confirms. Okay, okay. And then, why would you not, right? Like, why would you not? So I'm at 4. We're gonna Jessica's will. Let's say an opponent only has turn 5. Let's say somebody, the most is 5. We have 5 mana. So 4 plus 3, we're at 7. And we exile the top 3. We said 7, right? I mean, not 7. Like we said 5. Bam. Sure, why not? We have expended, so we'll exile 2. So Gruul Turf and Fire Garden are what we can do next turn. What was this other card? Oh, Fires. Okay, I'm not worried about that. Not bad. Not bad at all. Then next turn. Alright. So we could do this Fires. Oh wait. We have to, beginning of your upkeep, exile 2 cards, so we would have gotten, if you exile a land this way, so we get a dinosaur. A dinosaur. This says at the beginning of your first main phase, so they are, and then these are exiled. And I can play them, but I'm not going to because I've already done my 1 land. So at my first main phase, I'll gain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. The problem with this 6 mana is I don't have anything to do with it. 5 mana will crack this draw card. We'll assume that we made 2 green. Boop. So what are we at? 3 now? No, that was the first thing we played. Well, when in doubt, make more of these things. Shapeshifter 2/2. One of them's blue. This is not the blue one, right? Oh no, it is a blue one. Alright, so. Alright. Not a bad turn 6. Oh gosh. I needed that to be better. I needed that to be better. Not gonna lie. Oh, that would be my exile. So I get a treasure token. That would be my other one, which is Shared Animosity. Okay, so I can play these from exile. So I think we play the Shared Dominance. Now we're at expend 3. But I don't really know what else we're gonna do except go schwangin'. Right? So we would swing with the party. They all get +1/+0 for each other creature because they're all creatures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I just swung with 7 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What's 7 times 8? 56? 56, 58, 61, 64, 66, 67, 69, 71, and then how many counters are on this thing? 5, 71, 76. 76. Turn whatever. It's not bad. I like the deck. Alright, I have to look because I think... Oh, first off, YouTube people, definitely seems like the deck is working. Absolutely love it. If you enjoyed this deck, please comment down below how you would like to build the Trash Panda party. And if you like this art better than the regular art. I do, but would you pay $60 for it? Tell me in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe because we're getting toward the end of the year and I haven't even hit 200 subscribers on YouTube. It's a crime. Not like a crime like the last time we built a deck and it was Marchesa, Dealer of Death, but it is a crime that we're not at 200. We got to get there. I will definitely be doing these more, usually on Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/Seth Cross. We also play games, usually on Fridays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, same channel. You can be a part of those games if you join the Discord. There will be a link in the video description down below for that. I do my call usually Monday afternoons for, hey, who wants to play Magic on Friday, and we do 2 games, and then those become VODs on the channel. So if you want to make your own appearance on the VODs, and you have a spell table set up, for sure, come and join us. Until next time, though, I had an absolute blast. I love this deck. I think we just got to make sure that we have more cards in hand, which is really weird because we had a lot of ways to get cards in hand, so I don't know how we were just maybe hitting those weird pockets. But either way, I enjoyed. Hope you did too. See you next time.